on this Wednesday morning. We are continuing to follow breaking news out of Apple Valley, where crews are fighting a fire at a storage facility. This is a live picture from the scene right now. Cece Gaines have been there all morning long. We, of course, are going to get an update from her here coming up in a little bit. But yeah, as you can see, still active scene. A lot of fire crews still there right now as we speak.
Absolutely. And for those folks on the scene, at least, Guy, the weather's a little bit warmer than it was yesterday. We're not having those sub-zero temperatures this morning.
Yeah, at least here. So we'll take it because it actually feels like the current temperature and it is above zero. So there you have it. Right now, temps at 2. All right, we're getting pretty low now. So it's going to be, we'll see how long we can say that because temperatures are getting closer and closer to sub-zero. Moments ago, we were sitting at 3, now at 2. A little bit cooler, but it still feels like it with a nice calm wind. More sunshine on the way today, 20 for your afternoon high. Not as bitter cold. Coldest period of the day will be between 8 and 9, where wind chills could fall near 15 below. So we're going to watch that. Few flurries possible tonight, otherwise mostly cloudy, a low of 6, and temps will make it right around 12 tomorrow. Colder air tomorrow and breezy. Increasing sun after we shake a few morning flurries possible. Northwest winds at 5 to 15, so that wind will increase ahead of another round of Arctic air. So more on that coming up.
Say it in such a scary way, Guy. Thank you, sir. This is a live look in Eagan. Good morning. Not far from Pilot Knob Road at 35E. Traffic picking up. Not too bad, though, across the Twin Cities Metro. We did get a report of a crash on 94 in between Minneapolis and St. Paul. I'll try to pop that up on a camera and have an update in a few minutes. Well, staying on top of breaking news this morning.
Yeah, a fire investigation happening right now at a storage facility in Apple Valley. Foliage Avenue roads were blocked off a little bit earlier today. Our Cece Gaines is there right now with some new information this morning. Hi, Cece.
Hi, good morning. Yes, so we've been here for about a little over an hour now, and there's been a couple of developments since we last talked to you. So the scene is active in the sense that there are still a couple of fire trucks and a couple of police cars still here just investigating and looking into the situation. But within the past 30 minutes, the ladder has come down. There isn't too much smoke anymore, and a lot more of the crews that were here from the start of the morning have left the scene. But we have talked to crews that have been here, and they said that crews got here at about 3:50 this morning, so they had been battling this for a couple hours at this point. But crews still on scene. I do believe that they're talking to one of the managers, owners here at this point, just the final kind of wrapping up things here. But we did reach out to Apple Valley Police and Fire just to get any kind of update about how this fire started, and we did that a couple of hours ago. We're still waiting to hear back at this point. But yes, as we mentioned, and as you can see, crews still very much here on the scene, and we'll be here all morning trying to figure out exactly what happened and bring the latest to you. For now, I'll send things back to you.
All right, CC reporting live in Apple Valley. We'll check back in a bit. Thank you. 6:03 is the time, and just a few hours from now, Tyree Nichols will be laid to rest in Memphis.
The 29-year-old died days after he was beaten by Memphis police during a traffic stop. His family says they will be celebrating his life instead of focusing on the newly released body camera video. And we know this morning that Vice President Kamala Harris and George Floyd's family will be at the funeral. Reverend Al Sharpton will deliver the eulogy, and civil rights attorney Ben Crump will deliver the call for justice. As of this morning, 5 police officers face charges in Nichols' death. 2 others are relieved of duty, and 3 EMTs have been fired. Many are calling for justice, including Valerie Castile, whose son Philando Castile was shot and killed during a traffic stop here in 2016.
Ain't none of this mess new. Ain't none of it new. It's just a repeat of history. It just go round and round because nobody really wants to change anything.
And Reverend Al Sharpton says what happened to Nichols is a disgrace to this country. He says he wants Congress to pass the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act.
Now to the latest in the death of George Floyd. A judge is set to decide the fate of the 4th and final former Minneapolis police officer charged in his death. Tutau was the officer who held back bystanders while his colleagues restrained Floyd. Closing arguments happened yesterday. Now a judge has 90 days to decide if Tao is guilty on the state charges of aiding and abetting murder and manslaughter.
We're getting a status update on the Golden Valley Police Department this morning. The chief spoke to city council members last night about how the nationwide struggle to recruit officers is impacting the West Metro suburb. Right now, they're down to 17 sworn-in officers with a budget for almost double that.
We may not have the numbers there, but we will do everything we can to not compromise that. And I want to make sure I say that very clear, that where we do not compromise the services that we have been providing for decades.
The chief says the department will get help from the Hennepin County Sheriff's deputies as they're working to rebuild. This comes after we learned late last year of an investigation into allegations of a toxic workplace culture in the Golden Valley Police Department. One officer was fired for making racist and insensitive comments and breaking data privacy protocols.
This morning, 7 jurors are seated in the murder trial of Jalissa Thaler. She's accused of killing her 6-year-old son, Eli Hart. The boy was found shot multiple times in the trunk of a car in Mound last May. Thaler's charged with first-degree premeditated murder. Opening statements are expected to begin Friday or Monday.
House Republican leaders are prepared to hold a vote as soon as today on removing Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee. Initially, Republicans did not have enough votes to remove Omar. Late last night, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced he has now locked down enough votes. McCarthy vowed to remove Omar over past remarks about Israel. Abortion rights are now written into state law in Minnesota. Governor Walz signed the PRO Act into law. Abortion was already legal in Minnesota because of a 1995 state Supreme Court ruling. But supporters of the PRO Act worry the court ruling could be reversed someday, the same way Roe versus Wade was. Republicans had urged Walz to veto the bill because it allows abortions up to the point of birth.
There aren't exceptions in here, that these are decisions that are made on basic health care decisions that are made, basic reproductive, basic health care for women to be made by them and their health care provider.
Minnesota is now the first state to codify abortion rights since the reversal of Roe versus Wade. The Biden administration is hopeful the legislation will encourage ballot initiatives in other states. All right, this morning we do have some good news and bad news about gas prices. The bad news, they're going back up.
Yeah, so here in Minnesota, you're going to be paying about 10 cents more a gallon compared to just last week. So what is the good news? We head out to Jen for that. Hi, Jen.
Yeah, hi. So the good news, it's freezing cold, which is not normally good news, at least in my book. But it is when it comes to gas prices because of this. When winter gets wintry, right? So cold temperatures, snow, people just drive less. They don't go as many places. And when they're driving less, demand for gas goes down. And when demand for gas goes down, typically so do prices. So that is the good news because we did, believe it or not, have a milder start to winter than normal. So more people were out driving, and that is why gas prices are the way they are right now. $3.49 at the station in Golden Valley. Statewide, AAA says we're about $3.40 for a gallon of regular. In Minnesota, as we said, that's about 10 cents higher from last week. But from last month, they're up just under 40 cents. Prices compared to a year ago, meanwhile, are up about 20 cents. And paying more, of course, not anyone's idea of a good time, but you do need to keep this in mind. AAA says that the prices right now are actually still within average for this time of year. However, there is one outlier right now that could change things.
One area to watch out for from the international side of things is China lessening its restrictions due to COVID. Obviously, that's going to create some demand on the international scale, which should hopefully impact supply.
Of course, everyone wants to save on gas. You probably have your Fuel Saver program or app, cashback app, whatever you use. But there is something on your car that you should be checking to make sure that you have the best mileage as possible. We're going to talk more about that coming up in just 30 minutes.
All right, more better tips. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate it. And we're making it easy for you to find the lowest gas prices near you. Just text the word gas to 763-797-7215. We'll send you a link to Gas Buddy right to your cell phone. Remember, you need to text the number, don't call. All right, let's turn our attention now to the weather. The good news, it is a little bit warmer today. The bad news, though, we got good news and bad news for everybody on every story. It sounds like. So, bad news is it's going to change.
Yeah.
Oh, give us some good news, guy.
All right, I'll give you some good news. We have a warm-up in the 7-day forecast, and I think most of you will like the warm-up, but it's so tough because what could be good for me or you could be maybe bad for others. I know some folks love the cold. A lot of winter activities take place here, obviously, in Minnesota, so it's tough to say good and bad, but I will just, stick to my job and I'll just, I'll be the messenger today and let you decide. 2 right now, and it feels like 2. Well, that's not bad considering how cold temperatures have been throughout the week. It actually feels like the air temperature and things are above 0. So I'm just trying to, look on the brighter side of things. Sun today, bright sun, not as cold, but look at wind chills. We are going to see wind chills fall sub-0 near about 9, even some 15 below, feel like later on this morning. And temps will eventually plummet below 0. Not too low though. You'll see air temps will make it below 0 later this morning as well, but not yet. Highs today climb to near 20 degrees. We'll see some sun, southwest winds nice and light for us. Today, tonight, temperatures fall single digits, not too cold for us. But I'm tracking the chance for some flurries tonight. So I'll be running some forecast models here in about 10 minutes, kind of timing that out for you. So stick around for that. And let's take a look at the next 3 days because we have one more round of Arctic air. That's coming, but not tomorrow. We'll see temps make it to around 12. Wind will start increasing ahead of a front that we're tracking for Friday. In the wake of that front, Arctic air with lows 14 below, and it's going to feel much colder than that with high temps making it to only 5. More on that coming up.
Guy, thank you. All right, at 6:15, we are talking to the first African-American woman voted sheriff in Minnesota. What this title means to Hennepin County Sheriff Dewana Went.
And at 6:45, we're taking a look at which Minnesota public schools have the life-saving medicine Narcan on campus.
"15 years of storytelling, hundreds of videos, all in one place. Land of 10,000 Stories, the complete collection. Rewatch your favorite stories or use the interactive map to find new stories across our state. Go to care11.com/land